Welcome one and all to Fallout TV. In today's video we're going to go through what you should watch if you love Fallout. I've tried to make this as fair as possible, so I've gone with a few things from YouTube, a few things from the TV, and a few things that have been on the big screen. I would just like to point out that these are going to be short sort of explanations, not to give away anything in case anyone hasn't seen any of these that are on the list. Starting with the ones from YouTube, we'll go with Nuka-Break. Fallout Nuka-Break is a live action fan-made web series made by Wayside Creations. Its direct setting is derived from both Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. The series follows three main characters, a vault dweller, his ghoul companion, and a slave they freed from New Vegas. This one was created by Zach Finfrock, who is also creating a new one as we speak called Fallout Breaking. Fallout Red Star is another live-action fan-made web series by Wayside Creations taking place in the Fallout universe, again with the helping hand of Zach Finfrock. My god, this guy is a genius. Red Star follows a lone NCR ranger through the wasteland who is tasked with finding someone's missing daughter. The only reason he's been given this task is because he's looking for someone called Bill that he used to track with. Moving on now to Fallout Revelation. I don't think there's a lot of people that have seen this one. This was the first one I watched all the way back in 2016. This one was made by Mechanical Cake TV on YouTube. Aldous Mercury, a peaceful vault dweller, finds a mysterious object in the wasteland. He goes missing and then it's down to his son to go and find him. Kinda similar to the Fallout 3 story, and this one also has the Enclave involved as well. Now unfortunately, after 3 episodes of this on YouTube, production seemed to have stopped. Not 100% sure why, but I did read somewhere online that it was to do with money, and apparently they set up a GoFundMe and ran off with the money from that. But again, this is online. Can't believe everything you read on the internet. Just to finish off on the web series, there was another one brought out just before Christmas last year called A Fallout Story, The Toy, short fan film by Spores Productions. Fairly sure this one was filmed somewhere in the UK. It looks like it was, at least. This one was about a guy who finds a toy from his past whilst on the run from vault dwellers, and eventually they catch up with him. Moving on now to the big screen, and we're going to start with Book of Eli, a very, very good film that I thoroughly enjoy. Book of Eli was released in 2010 and is a post-apocalyptic neo-western action film starring Denzel Washington, Gary Oldman, and Mila Kunis. 30 years after a nuclear holocaust caused by an ecocide, Eli travels on foot across the wasteland of the former United States. The story revolves around Eli, a nomad in a post-apocalyptic world who seeks to deliver his copy of a mysterious book to a safe location on the west coast of the United States. We all know you love the west coast, but I also think it's a little bit mad that Fallout New Vegas, that's about a courier that needs to deliver something, and the Book of Eli, which is about delivering something, released in the same year and took place in the same place. Next on the list is A Boy and His Dog. This one was released in 1975 and is an American black comedy science fiction film set in the year 2024. This one probably hits closer to home at the moment so far. The boy, Vic, and his telepathic dog, Blood, work together as a team in order to survive in a dangerous post-apocalyptic wasteland on the southwestern United States. According to what I'm reading, Vic is more concerned about food and sex. Having lost both his parents, he doesn't have a formal education and doesn't understand ethics or morality. His dog helps him find women, and I'm not going to explain any more than that because you can probably guess what it is. And the one thing that makes it closer to Fallout than anything other than the web series so far is the fact that the two still are living, evading bands of raiders, berserk military androids, and mutants. And where do we know all that from? Fallout, with super mutants, raiders, and assaultrons. Moving away from that disaster into an actual full-blown nuclear disaster is last year's release, Oppenheimer. Everybody knows about this film, and I would assume that a lot of people would have already seen this film. Cillian Murphy stars as J. Robert Oppenheimer. The film is produced by Christopher Nolan. The movie also stars Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, Josh Hartnett, Cassie Affleck, Rami Malek, Kenneth Branagh, Josh Peck. Just the list is endless at this point. And as I'm sure we're all aware, the movie follows Robert Oppenheimer and his quest to create the nuclear bomb before the Germans. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It is definitely worth sitting there for 3 hours and watching it because it doesn't feel like 3 hours. Just to finish off on the movie front, we'll go with The Road. The Road is a 2009 American post-apocalyptic survival film that stars Viggo Mortensen, or as we all better know him as Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. A man and his young son struggle to survive after an unspecified catastrophe results in an extinction event which caused the death of all plant life and virtually all animal life. The man and boy must travel to the coast in hope that they can find safe haven, scavenging for supplies in their journey, avoiding roaming cannibalistic SA gangs armed with guns. The Road also stars Cody Smith-McPhee, Robert Duvall, Guy Pearce, Charlize Theron, Molly Parker, and Garrett Dillahunt. Okay, I may have got it wrong. There is one more film, which for some reason is a PG, but I don't think it should be. 1986 animated movie When the Wind Blows. When the Wind Blows is a 1986 British adult animated disaster film which is based in rural Sussex and is basically about how elderly couple Jim Bloggs and his wife Hilda live in an isolated cottage, and they get a radio transmission that warns of an imminent ICBM strike, and you can probably guess the rest of what happens from there. Moving on now to TV, we have Chernobyl. Obviously we all know about this one. It's about the 1986 Chernobyl disaster where the reactor went into meltdown, and it tells the story of the people who were involved in the disaster and those who responded to it, more so the efforts of the firefighters and first responders on the scene, and the teams of miners who dug a critical tunnel under Reactor 4. And we all know the famous line from Call of Duty 4's opening, 50,000 people used to live here, now it's a ghost town. That is Pripyat, Ukraine. It's just mad how it's still uninhabitable. And last but not least, probably the most shocking of all of these, apart from Chernobyl, because that was an actual real event. 1984, the BBC released a TV movie called Threads. This one's a bit close to home for me because it shows you what Britain would be like and how it would have responded to a nuclear attack during the Cold War. So basically, it's set up in Sheffield in the north of England. The plot centres around two families as a confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union erupts. As the nuclear exchange between NATO and the Warsaw Pact begins, the film depicts a medical, economic, social and environmental consequences of nuclear war. This was the first film of its kind, as it was meant to depict a nuclear winter. It is also being called a film which comes closest to representing the full horror of nuclear war and its aftermath, as well as the catastrophic impact that the event would have on human culture. Honestly, if you do get a chance and can find it anywhere, watch Threads. It will probably leave you as shocked as I was when I first saw it. I only needed to see it once because that once was enough. But don't watch it if you have a fear of like disasters and death and things like that, because you will have probably have a full-blown meltdown. Unfortunately, leaving it on that sour note, that's my list of recommended things to watch if you love Fallout. What I'm actually going to do as well is go and watch everything in this list and stick it in a tier list. I'm going to come up with a scoring system and everything, so make sure you like and subscribe to know when that one's going to go up, and I'll be back again with another video very soon. Thank you all, love you all, stay safe, avoid nuclear weapons and winters, and I'll see you all again soon. I'm going to traumatise myself by watching all of these, but for the love of you guys, goodbye.